Gopijana Vallabha Gopijana Vallabha Girivaran Hare Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaran Hare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaran Hare Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaran Hare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaran Hare Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 1st chapter, text 13. Saha Eshaha Doshaha Purushadvit Aste Grihan Pravishtaha Yam Apatyamatya Pushnasi Krishnat Vimugaha Gatashrihi Tyaja Ashu Ashaivam Kula Koshalaya Aishadosha Purushadvid Saishadosha Purushadviraste Rihan Pravishto Yamapatyamatya Ushnasi Krishna Vimuko Gatashvis Tejashva Shaivam Kula Koshalaya Saishadosha Purushadviraste Rihan Pravishto Yamapatyamatya Ushnasi Krishna Vimukho Gati Kaktashis Sajashva Shaivam Kula Koshalaya Saishadosha Purusha Dhiraste Yan Pravishto Yamapatyamatya Ushnasi Krishna Vimukho Gatashvis Sajashva Shaivam Kula Koshalaya
Saisha dosha purusha vilaste Grihan pravishto yamapatyamatya Pushnasi krishnat vimuko gatashvis Jajash vishaivam kula koshalaya
Sa esha dosha purusha dviraste Grihan pravishto yamapatyamatya Pushnasi Krishna vimukho gatashvis Tyajashvashvaivankula koshalaya
Saisha dosha purusha dvidaste Griha Vishto Yamapatyamatya Pushnasi Krishna Vimukho Gatashvis Tyajashvashaivam Kulakoshalaya
Saisha dosha purusha dviraste Grihan pravishto yamapatyamatya Pushnasi Krishna vimukho gatashvis Tyajashva Shaivam Kula Koshalaya
Sa esha dosha purusha dvidaste. Grihan pravishto yamapatyamatya. Pushnasi Krishna vimukho gatashris. Tyajas Vaishaivam kulukoshalaya.
Saisha dosha parusha viraste. Grihan pravishto yamapatyamatya. Pushnashi Krishna vimako gatashris. Tayajasa Shaivam Kulakoshalaya.
Ladies,
Sa esha dosha purusho divaste. Griham pravishto yamapatyamatya. Pushna Shri Krishna Vimuku Gata Shrish Chaidasha Ivam Kula Ashya Laya.
Saha, he, Eshaha, this, Doshaha, offense personified, Purushadvit, envious of Lord Krishna, Aste, exists, Grihan, household, Pravishtaha, entered, Yam, whom, Apatyamatya, thinking to be your son, Pushnasi, maintaining, Krishnat, from Krishna, Vimukaha, in opposition, Gatashihi, devoid of everything auspicious, Tyaja, give up, Ashu, as soon as possible, Ashaivam, inauspicious, Kula, family, Koshalaya, for the sake of. You are maintaining offense personified, Duryodhana, as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna. And because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family. Purport.
A good son is called apatya, one who does not allow his father to fall down. The son can protect the father's soul when the father is dead by offering sacrifices to please the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This system is still prevalent in India. After the death of his father, a son goes to offer sacrifices at the lotus feet of Vishnu at Gaya, and thus delivers the father's soul if the father is fallen. But if the son is already an enemy of Vishnu, how, in such an inimical mood, can he offer sacrifice unto Lord Vishnu's lotus feet? Lord Krishna is directly the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and Duryodhana was inimical to him. He would therefore be unable to protect his father, Dhritarashtra, after his death. He himself was to fall down because of his faithlessness towards Vishnu. How then could he protect his father? Vidura advised Dhritarashtra to get rid of such an unworthy son as Duryodhana as soon as possible if he was at all anxious to see the good of his family. According to the moral instructions of Chanakya Pandit, Quote, "What is the use of a son who is neither a learned man nor a devotee of the Lord? If a son is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he is just like blind eyes, a source of trouble. A physician may sometimes advise the extrication of such useless eyes from their sockets so that one can be relieved of the constant trouble. Duryodhana was exactly like blind, troubling eyes. He would be a source of great trouble to the family of Dhritarashtra, as foreseen by Vidura. Vidura therefore rightly advised his eldest brother to get rid of this source of trouble. Dhritarashtra was wrongly maintaining such personified offense under the mistaken impression that Duryodhana was a good son, able to liberate his father."
So dosha means fault. And Srimad Bhagavatam says that Kalir doshani de rajan astiyeko mahan guna. That the age of Kali is an ocean of fault. Kalir doshani de, ocean of fault. But there's one good quality, and that is the name of Krishna. If chanted, can counteract all the ill effects of the age of Kali. So, Duryodhana is actually described as an incarnation of the age of Kali. He's Kali himself. So, of course, he's full of faults. He represents all the things that are detestful in society. Main thing is that if one is detestful of Krishna, if one is not submissive to Krishna, then he has no good qualities. Verse about one who is a devotee. Harab Bhaktasha Kato Mahadvina Manoranena Davatob Manorane Davatobahi. That one who is not a devotee of the Lord has no good qualities. Whereas one who is a devotee of the Lord, he gets all good qualities. What is the factor? The factor is, if one becomes a devotee, then even if he was full of faults before, now they're all counteracted. And if one had all good qualities, or apparently all good qualities, before, and then he becomes a non-devotee, like Duryodhana, he was born in a good family, royal family. The line of the Kuru dynasty, the kings, royal family. His father's Vyasadeva. Vyasa. His grandfather's Vyasadeva. His father's Dhritarashtra. But very good lineage. His mother also very pious and Hare. But he became a non-devotee of Krishna because Krishna wanted things to be done in a perfect way. Krishna always knows what should be done, how things should be done. It's like we were speaking yesterday about some insects or some animal. So they're thinking whether they should, it's getting low, it's becoming scarce. So they want to maintain that animal, make it a, what do you call it, endangered species so that no one can kill it. It's against the law. And the reason they give is because we see that particular animal eats some insects that, if not eaten, those insects would be very dangerous to human society. So therefore, well, who made the plan? Who arranged this? That animal eats those insects and those. That's good. If they can recognize that, there's such a big plan that even a seemingly useless animal could serve a positive purpose for humanity and for society in general. Who is the brain behind all that? That has made it so. And it's actually a fact. If we try to remove a species or add a species, it'll just make disturbances. So better to go along with the way things are designed to go. They say natural. Natural means from nature. The author of nature, the designer of nature, is Krishna. He says in Bhagavad Gita that this material nature is working under his direction. And he's controlling everything through nature. Nature is his machine, his computer, you could say. His master computer that runs everything. And also perfectly in order. All we have to do is follow Krishna's instructions, and we can live through this life. Of course, we have to go through this life as a consequence of our previous activities. One who's taking birth now, it means he must have some material karma to pay off. Except in the case of a Nityasiddha. Nityasiddhas are devotees who've never fallen down, but they come to the material world on the order of Krishna, specifically for preaching work. But that's rare. Most of us come here because we got this body because of sinful activities in the past. Even if one has a so-called apparently good situation, he's born in an opulent family or country, he's educated or whatever, good looking, these are good qualities. They come from pious activities. There may have been some pious activities also, that's a fact. But there must be some sinful activities too, because otherwise to take birth in the material world is not something to be proud of. So the best thing to do, Vidura said, what's to be done? Reject. Sometimes it says that he should be annihilated because he was, actually that would have been appropriate, but some people would have a hard time with that, they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't have enough faith in the persons who are recommending that. So they would have doubts. But at least he should be rejected. So he's no longer taken as the senior son and future king of or emperor of the world. That's just like there was another case of this. Prithu's father. What's his name? Vena. Yes, Vena. he was from a good family. His father was the king or the emperor. And father tried to instruct him, son, train him up properly. But the son was not willing to follow the father. So the father came so disappointed and disgusted, he just retired and went to the forest. So the sages then had to figure out what to do. The son is a really rascal, but we have to have a king. And the son is very strong. Maybe we can make him the king and give him the right direction. Maybe he'll follow. So they tried him. And he was very strong. So he cut down all the rogues and the thieves, all the criminals they were wiped out, so everyone was happy about that. But he also cut down the Brahmins, everybody, all the persons who should have been exalted and appreciated. He disregarded them. He went against them. He didn't take their instructions seriously. He ordered everyone to worship him. No more worship of God. That became intolerable. The Brahmins tried their best to convince him. They couldn't convince him. He disregarded. So finally they said, there's nothing else we can do. No one can defeat him. No Kshatriya can defeat him. Only the Brahmins had the power to defeat him, so they chanted some mantras. And by their mantras, he was removed from the position. And then they churned his body after his death. His body was churned and they got his son out of the body, Prithu Maharaj, and became a great devotee of the Lord. So, sometimes it happens that the Brahmins have to get involved in things like that. Jamadagni, father of, he took, actually it was mostly done by Parshuram. Jamadagni, his father was a Brahmin, a good Brahmin, but King Arjuna, Kartavirya Arjuna, yeah. He was a Kshatriya, very powerful, and he became envious of Jamadagni because I think he had a Kamadhenu cow. Similar story to another situation. But anyway, he killed, finally, Kartavirya Arjuna, he killed the father because he wouldn't agree with. When Parshuram found out that, even though he was a Brahmin, he was born in a Brahmin family, he took action against the Kshatriyas. And 21 generations of Kshatriyas were of the same demonic mentality as Kartavirya Arjuna, so they had to be chastised severely. So sometimes it happens that the Brahmins get involved in these matters, but generally they prefer not to. They prefer to leave it for the Kshatriyas to arrange any kind of violence. They're not inclined to violence. It's like Brahma. Brahma is so powerful, but he generally doesn't fight. But there is a Brahmastra, which is his weapon, is the most powerful weapon. That means he could have the power if he wanted to if he used that power for might, physical might, it would be extraordinary. But he doesn't. And the Brahmanas, when we hear the qualities of the Brahmanas, Shama Dhamma Tapak Shocham, Shanti Arjuna, forgive, cleanliness, austerity, truthfulness, control the senses, control the mind, knowledge, but there's nowhere it says strength. Whereas the first quality of the Kshatriyas is teja, strength and power. So Kshatriyas have to be strong physically, but they have to be submissive to the Brahmins. Because just like this body, the arms are quite dexterous and strong. The arms can carry a lot, they can do many things. But they have to follow the instructions of the head. Head may be smaller or less. You can't do so many things with your head physically. But you can do many things with the hands, arms. But they have to be submissive to the head. Otherwise, if the arms go around doing whatever they like, smashing everything. It's like Banasuri had 1,000 arms. And because he wasn't a devotee, he used to use his arms for tearing things down, making disturbances. He'd go to the seashore and make like a tidal wave with his arms, and then it would overflood. So he had to be relieved of that. Krishna, ultimately, he challenged Krishna to fight. So he had this benediction of 1,000 arms. He was a devotee of Lord Shiva, and he used to play the mridanga with 1,000 arms. Lord Shiva was appreciative of his mridanga playing. But Krishna cut down 996, no, 990, cut all his arms out except 4. He didn't kill him because he had promised, the Lord had promised that he wouldn't kill any of the descendants of Prahlad Maharaj. Felt that he had killed enough of them. Hiranyakashipu is Prahlad's father, and Hiranyaksha is uncle, and so he didn't want to kill anymore, even if they were demons. And Banasura was a demon, but Krishna didn't kill him. So we can learn what's going to happen in the future by hearing from very exalted souls. Trikalaga. Trikalagya means they know the future, they know the past, they know the present. Now, one may know the future if he's an expert astrologer, because one can tell the future by looking at the horoscope, the chart of a person. They can find out what his future will be. They can say he'll be wealthy, or they can say, well, will he be married, or will he have children? These things are all designed. Just like if one goes to the seashore and he has a little experience, he's gone to the seashore, he knows that at such and such a time, the tide will go in, and at such and such a time, the tide will go out. So he may tell his son, son, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the future. The tide will come in, it will be up here at this time. You check and you'll see. So the son comes and checks. How'd you know that? Were you able to tell the future? He could tell the future by the past. It's like the modern scientists, they understand something about the movements of the constellations of the stars by studying the past. And then they use that to. But one who has transcendental vision, he can also tell what's going to happen in the future. Shukadeva Goswami was describing what's going to happen in the end of Kali Yuga. There are symptoms, and these are the symptoms of the age of Kali as it declines. Everything will, and we see all those predictions that were given by Sutta and Shukadeva Goswami have come to pass and are coming to pass more. So are devotees interested in knowing the future? They know the future because they hear from the scriptures. If one doesn't follow the path of righteousness, then there'll be many disorders. Everything will become degraded more and more. The government leaders, the kings, will be no longer pious men. They'll be rogues and so many things. So it's like Arjuna was saying, part of his argument was he didn't want to fight because he didn't want to kill the men in the family, because then the women would be unprotected, and unprotected women means unwanted progeny. Unwanted progeny creates a hell for society. So that was his argument. And it's true, we know that. So better off to follow those who know the Shastras, they know what the future holds. If someone says, what is my future? Future is birth, old age, disease, and death. And if you continue to not serve Krishna and to hold the desire for material sense gratification, then your future will be like that again and again. Birth and death again. So better to stop the repetition of birth and death. Samsara dava ali loka shnaya karanakarakaratam praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande garoshi charan. Spiritual master delivers the population, the follower, from the cycle of birth and death. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, you were talking about the rare instances of when a brahmana might take the position of a kshatriya. And I was thinking how Krishna, he was taught martial arts as a boy, and he was in Gurukul. And I was thinking, do kshatriyas or other castes, do they also go to Gurukul and learn the different sciences like the Brahmanas do?
Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas go to Gurukul, not the Shudras. Their education of the Vaishyas is not as extensive. It includes some basic things, Vedic. They're also considered amongst the three higher classes. They accept a spiritual master. But the Shudras are not qualified, so they don't. They have no interest in. But the spiritual master is expert. He can tell what the inclinations of the children are. I forget what age Prabhupada was saying about what age that the determination should be made by. But at a certain age, they can tell whether he's inclined towards Brahminical study. the qualities of a Brahmin, we know. He likes to study, he likes to hear, he likes austerities, and he doesn't misuse his. Whereas Kshatriya, they like to protect, they like to, very challenging, very energetic. And the Vaishyas, lazy foolish it's called. Lazy foolish because he's lazy, but he makes money. That's his foolishness. Whereas a Brahmin is considered lazy intelligent. He doesn't work very hard physically, but he attains the highest perfection. And he gets, transcendental knowledge is the greatest thing, and he gets that. So he's lazy intelligent. So they get some education, but not as much as the Brahmins. Brahmins go further into the Shastras.
I was wondering why Krishna doesn't reveal himself to non-devotees.
Why doesn't a father reveal how much money he has and where the money is kept and everything to a foolish son? He doesn't reveal it to a foolish son because the foolish son can go out and ruin the whole thing. If he finds out where the treasury is kept and how things are going on, he may just make a mess. So same thing as the non-devotees. Again, Duryodhana is a perfect example. He's a personification of non-devotee. Everything he did was against Krishna. So that's the worst thing. Krishna's not going to reveal himself, reveal his secrets to those who are not qualified.
With Maharaj Yudhishthir in the Mahabharata, whenever he's involved in like the gambling matches and things like this, it sounded like he would get like carried away or like swept up in it. And if that's there, I was wondering how that's possible if he's like a pure devotee of Krishna. How is like his senses are controlled and everything? How is he getting carried away into these gambling matches?
Well, when Krishna was away from Hastinapur when the gambling matches took place. And when Krishna came to know of the consequence of what happened, he was very upset. And he told them that had he been there, that it never would have happened. But he had to stay in Dwarka because Shalva was attacking. And Shalva, such a powerful warrior, he was defeating even Pradyumna, the son of Krishna. So they were having a difficult time with Shalva. Krishna had to stay to protect, had to go there. So, and Krishna pointed out that had I been there, I would have argued very strongly and convinced Bhishma, Drona, and they would have been on my side, and we would have forbid Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana to do these things, and that never would have happened. Another thing is that he could have if he were more intelligent, Yudhishthira, perhaps, he could have said that you have Shakuni rolling dice for you, so I'll have Krishna throw my dice. That would have been another way to outsmart him. Anyway, yes, and it also teaches a lesson, the vice of gambling. Just see the results of gambling. Even for the greatest, most pious man on the earth, look what happens. So what to speak of us? I'll just play a little jackpot, go to the casino and bet on some horses. What's the wrong? Play some. Yeah, it's very dangerous because one can lose everything. Gambling. It's like we're gambling that we're going to be able to go on enjoying. It's a gamble that, for example, this petrol. We're building the whole civilization is built on petroleum, and it's running out, and we're just gambling that it won't run out while I'm still alive. Let the next generation deal with the consequences. I don't have to drink the water from these polluted rivers. Next guy will drink it. So the poor, those who are born now, what are they? They're born into a really difficult situation. Everything's polluted. They're gambling that it wouldn't all fall apart. The nuclear weapons won't be used while I'm alive. I'm gambling. We'll go on doing all these sinful activities, and we're gambling that we won't get the reactions in our lifetime. But they don't know that they have eternal life, so they'll get the reactions. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.